Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Mario and Luigi Dream Team. In the last episode, we explored more of Wakeport, met Little Massif, who's looking for his brother Big Massif, so we need to help find him with extreme beefing. For he is a tour guide for Mount Pajama Joe. We need that tour to head there, find Bowser and Tasman, rescue the Dreamstone. My goodness, the plot gets more and more convoluted with each episode. But first, we're going to go ahead and rescue these pillows, because getting to Big Massif at this point actually isn't very difficult. We actually will be able to get there fairly quickly. It's going to be these pillows that are going to take up a lot of the time, but that's okay, because pillows means, well, this is our first time in Dreamy Wakeport. That means new enemies, which means new expert challenges, and this is where the challenge part of expert challenges definitely starts coming in. These enemies that we're going to be able to start fighting very soon, this is where the attacks get fairly convoluted and fairly difficult, so I'm going to have to do a lot of focusing. I'll try to explain the attacks after I dodge them successfully, but these Coconuts, they will throw spears in the overworld. If you touch the spears, you will still have to enter battle, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, okay, this attack is easy enough to explain while I'm going. Enter the circle. If you do not enter the circle, you will almost definitely get hit because there's no way to dodge the circle otherwise, and then just move accordingly to avoid running into the outside walls and taking damage to the Coconuts' bodies. So it's a fairly stressful attack. It's so easy to just get psyched out and get hit. And that's actually the easier of the two attacks to dodge, in my opinion. So you can see how things are going to start to get quite convoluted here. We're also going to start getting more excellence because Excellent 10 is now a thing. So we'll keep that in mind and hopefully be good enough to make this work. Okay, they're just doing the same attack over again, which is cool. You saw that there was an enemy back there that was, once it's damaged enough, they'll actually retreat from battle from a little bit, head to the sidelines, and, gosh, duh! This attack is still really annoying to dodge, because it's so... I totally fit through the gap in there, luckily, which was kind of nice. Cool. Still, these attacks are fairly difficult to dodge, and getting to the dodge 10 is not going to be as easy as I would like it to be, so... as you can see, though, if one of them retreats from battle, he'll actually re-enter battle after healing after a turn, if there's enough enemies left over for them to do a normal attack. If there's 3 or less enemies after you do damage, they'll actually do a different attack and retreat and end the battle. So, as long as there's 4 more enemies, they'll rejoin the battle with increased health and fight you again. But once there's less than 4 enemies, they'll do something different, as we'll probably see very soon. So that's kind of the way these guys work. That spear attack, basically keep track of the one with the glowing spear. That group will be the one that attacks you. That being said, they normally have, if there's enough enemies, they'll have 2 spears instead of just 1. So you'll have to follow the first one, because they'll attack in the order in which they show their spears. We'll see that very soon, probably next fight. But they'll attack in the order they show their spears, and from there you have to keep track of, you know, who's... You have to keep track of the first one, and then where the second one is relative to the first one. You'll see kind of how it works once we see that full attack as it goes. Now, these enemies, like I said, they're fairly difficult. There is a way to make the fight slightly easier to dodge, though, although you will always have to take the first attack, basically. Unless you have a high enough speed, but as long as I'm wearing this fighter wear, that's not going to be the case. So the first one should be over here, and the second one should be, I believe, right? Oh, I still got the right. I was like, it's either left or right. I'm fairly sure it was right, but I went left just in case, because I knew I could quickly flick to the right and do that. Not a good tactic to do. Usually you should be facing the right direction. I should be paying more attention. Speaking of paying attention, I have this to change my badges, so we're going to go ahead and change our badges here. It'll be good times. Now, the trick to making this fight a little bit easier, which is why I'm showing this fight off still, is to use the hammer. Because, as we saw, injured ones will actually retreat from battle. If you get several of them to retreat from battle, that means you're having less enemies basically involved in the actual fight, which means generally you'll have 1 spear instead of 2, like right now, and that makes them a lot easier to keep track of, and a lot easier to dodge when there's only 1 spear as opposed to 2, so it just makes things relatively easier. So if you knock out 3 or 4 enemies with your hammer, it makes their subsequent attacks easier to deal with, which is kind of a nice little strategy. So, also, if they're in the back, by the way, do not jump on them. They count as spiky enemies. It's not good times, so keep that in mind. And as long as there's 4 of them, they'll always be doing this spear thing, which is fairly easy to deal with when there's this few enemies, so we get a couple easier attacks. Basically, as long as you can dodge that first attack very well, You're golden for the rest of the fight if you use hammer on your first attack. It makes life a lot easier. Unfortunately, because I'm wearing the fighter wear, we won't be getting too much speed. Ooh, rare item! EXP Bro Gloves. Well, we got something rare and interesting. That's pretty cool. Hopefully, well, I mean, obviously we're gonna keep it, but hopefully we can continue to have decent success with this run and continue to dodge, because dodge 10... I mean, dodge 10 is something I can always, you know, farm enemies to get later on if I need to. We're gonna actually just get a first strike on these guys, because if I get a first strike, will it injure them enough for them to retreat early on? Is that possible? Probably not. No, I think they need to take more damage than that to retreat. If I had the Iron Ball Hammer, maybe that could be possible. I've kind of lost track of where they are. I think it's left. Yeah, left, and that should be up. Aha! I kept track of the enemies successfully. Life is good. So that's how these guys work. We'll go ahead and cut the rest of this fight out, or speed it up because it's a dodge 10 and expert 10. Just as a little checkup before I speed up the footage. We have currently 6 and 6 actually, so we're actually on track to possibly getting it in this episode if I'm actually decent at this. We shall see. At least with the hammer, it's always really easy to get excellence, and this should knock out most of the rest of these guys and make things easy. Yeah, there's only 3 left. They don't even try to fight back. Well, that's convenient. Die? I don't think it's gonna kill the ones in the back because they're so far away. As you can see, that the hammer doesn't really... Okay, actually, here we go. I don't think we've shown this off yet. If there's 3 or less, they'll run away and they'll basically throw spears at you and then they'll run away. So, that does still count as attack, I believe, for dodge 10. So that should bring us to a pretty good spot here. With the fighter wear, actually, these battles aren't going to take very long, so there's almost a little point in cutting them out because I kill things super fast now with how powerful I am. Yeah, they did count as a dodge because we're up to 7 now. So, hey, there's that with the hammer, too. If you get lucky enough, you get to just kind of get to the easy spear dodging attack instead of any of their complicated attacks. So there's merit to doing that. Because we're at 8 and 7 now, it's actually... not gonna... Hopefully, if I can just get lucky if the next few battles, we actually will be able to get the dodge 10 taken care of really early on, which would be nice. And hey, we got Experience Bro Gloves, which is pretty cool. The last... oh, I missed the first one. The first one's actually down here under the thing, which I forgot to get. Oops! But there we go, that's all 3 of them. I'm a little bit... I apologize if I'm just, like, really spacey and out of it this episode. It's been a long day. And I'll admit that I'm recording this much later than I should be. I may have gotten distracted with Majora's Mask 3D and my new 3DS, which the new 3DS is really cool. I'm really enjoying it so far, despite the fact that the setup was unnecessarily complicated. And Majora's Mask 3D has been surprisingly good. I mean, Majora's Mask is a great game already, but they made so many little improvements to the game that it feels actually fairly fresh and just really, really fun. It's definitely the definitive version of Majora's Mask, I think, so I highly recommend it so far. But that's a topic for another time. For now, we have to focus on Dream Team and rescue some pillows, and there is actually another new enemy in the Dream World we're going to encounter in a different pillow, so we're going to have to maintain our focus, which, unfortunately for me, focus is not something I have much of right now. It's one of those days where just, like, my brain is just gone. But that's okay, I'm still gonna record videos. Oh, hello, crab, you just attacked my butt. I guess we're cutting this footage out. Trying to hide from me, you fool! Oh, you're not dead yet. Well, that's awkward. But we got the badge. I'll have to make sure I use that and don't, you know, lose my barrier, because that would kind of suck. So I'll have to make sure I use that if I have to fight another crab or something like that. But hopefully we will not be attacked by crabs anymore, because they are mildly inconvenient, and we don't want that. So in order to continue the plot, we actually head to the right from here. Have I talked to you, mister? You're a guy. To the east, you can find runes. Well, we want to head to the ruins, because we have to learn ourselves a new puzzle. Well, a puzzle that we've seen throughout Wakeport, but we can now actually finally get the tutorial for and actually do. You can see it over here. It's basically these whole floor panels puzzle, which we finally get the tutorial. Hello. Who's whispering to us? Very suspicious! Where are you? Show yourself! Oh, it's just a block guy. Why were you hiding, Mr. Block Guy? What purpose did that have? I don't even know. But he's a researcher, and he's going to teach us how to do this puzzle, because that's what researchers do, apparently. They study puzzles, but fail to solve them, because Only Mario and Luigi can ever solve anything in the world. That's just how it works in a video game. Anyway, he's happy we're here, so on and so forth. He has some fascinating findings for us, and they will actually help us find Big Massif. We actually need to head through this gate in order to get around to the ramparts. It's a very convoluted process to get on top of buildings in this world, apparently. But, we have to go the long way around, apparently. But that's okay, we'll learn this puzzle. And actually, once we're done learning this puzzle, the other puzzle that we saw that had a bunch of tourists on top of it, that's preventing us from doing anything, the tourists will have cleared off, so we'll actually be able to get to that over there. And we saw pillows behind there, so that's going to be yet another pillow that we'll have to deal with in this episode. And we will in due time. Might end up being a longer episode, but that's okay. So there's no keyhole to this gate. The key is actually this floor panel puzzle. You can kind of imagine how this is going to go. We have to move the floor panels to the corresponding holes. So the plus panel has to head to the plus hole, or ground shape thing, whatever you want to call it. And the circle one goes to the circle one. Well, it's more of a hexagon than a circle, but it's close enough to a circle that I'm going to call it a circle. Sue me. Don't sue me, that'd be rude. Anyway, so to unite the matching symbols, so on and so forth, the question is, how do you do that? Well, as they're going to explain very soon, well, we've flipped panels before. We kind of know how that works. You have to use Mole Mario. And the trick to the puzzle is, there's a couple rules. First of all, you can't flip another panel onto a panel that's already there, so I can't flip the plus one onto the hexagon one. That doesn't work. And the other rule is you can only, basically the direction you enter with Mole Mario is the direction you're going to flip in. So if I head downwards, I'll be flipping the plus one onto the hexagon one. And so on and so forth. However, I cannot flip. You can't enter it from a side where there's a solid line, so I can't actually head through any of those solid lines in the middle. I can't flip the panels in that direction. So once we get to the more complicated puzzles of this formula, it's definitely going to get interesting with managing the solid lines and whatnot. We'll see how this works when I get to the more complicated one later in this episode. So keep that in mind. As I just sort of ramble, I'm going to be very rambly today. When I get into this kind of mindset, I think I just kind of lose... like I said, focus is not my strong suit today. So it's going to be very rambly and very fun. Hello, Mr. Guy. You're a cool guy. So, as I mentioned, Mole Mario is the way to go. So, you can actually, first of all, I'll show off if you head to the left here. You cannot flip it onto another panel. You can flip it down this way, though. However, I can't flip it to the right... because I can't, well, that was incorrect. I can't head through this solid thing here, so you can only head into sections that have openings like this and flip them in that direction. So, this puzzle's pretty basic, being the first tutorial puzzle, but we'll encounter a more difficult puzzle later on, so we will deal with it accordingly. Kind of a cool puzzle setup. It's a nice little puzzly mini game, and then when you get all the matching panels to their matching holes, the gate will magically open because pillow magic, it's a thing. So, another mystery of the island solved by a pair of plumbers. And this guy's gonna go ahead and write to his peers, probably get a famous published paper off of our work. It's pretty rude, actually, so good for you, Mr. Researcher. I hope we helped. Anyway, now that we're done with that, we can head up this way, and the next step is going to be basically lowering this bridge, because we saw this bridge was the key to accessing the ramparts last episode. So let's go ahead and take care of that. The way to do that is to head to the left over here, avoid Mr. Crab. Go back to your Krabby Patties SpongeBob reference. Hello, you're a guy. Don't be rude. Make Mario Mini, head through here. No, I can't get this one up. Life is hard. But we can hammer this thing, and this will lower the drawbridge, which will allow us a shortcut back to the mainland, as well as allow us access to the ramparts finally. So now that that's taken care of, all we need to do is head across this way. I mean, like I said, I could head up here, which I am going to head up here briefly, because there was a bean I missed over here. If you head over to where this Yoshi is, head around here, there is actually a bean over here that I completely forgot about. So there we go, bean get. We should be able to get the rest of the beans that we can access on our first visit to Wakeport in this episode. Also, we're going to get into a bro attack, which, that's always important. Geez, given all these things we have to do, it's going to end up being probably a fairly lengthy episode, but that's okay. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, apparently. We will deal with it. So, heading back to the Dream World, though, because there's a pillow to get along the way. And then we just have to walk along the ramparts. We'll get our bro attack, which will be really cool. We're going to need that for the Mad Skill-a-thon in a couple episodes, or next episode. Whenever the extras side quest episode happens. and so on and so forth. So before we rescue this pillow, though, we actually do have a new enemy. These weird bird clock things, and hopefully I can dodge. These enemies are a little difficult to dodge as well. So let me just focus for a second and get these first attacks correctly. Oh! Okay, I'll explain how that works in a second, but... Okay, basically, you can see it better there. Sometimes the shutter closes, which means you have to kind of guess the timing, but... Whenever their minute hand thing reaches the north, basically the timer, you know, the origin point, a bird will come out, so you have to jump right when it hits that north point, or pointing towards the little timer thing on it, basically, to dodge the bird. So it's a fairly easy attack, unless the shutter closes, in which case you have to kind of guess the timing based on what you saw for the few seconds beforehand, so, or the second you have to assess, basically. So, it's a timing, basically, I mean, they're bird clocks. It's a timing puzzle. Should not be very surprising. Also, these are flying enemies, so you cannot jump on, you cannot use your hammers, so you can only use jumps on them. So as long as, oh no, this attack, though, is really hard to dodge. Oh, I got it. Okay. It's all into... Oh my god, I got dodge 10! Holy crap. This attack is all about timing. You have to time... As you can see, they always go to the corner, so you have to hit them in mid-transition from corner to corner. If they go far enough, they will explode, killing themselves but damaging you. Which, since I have the barrier, is not a big deal, but it would ruin my dodge 10, and it would ruin my no-hitter, so I don't want that to happen. I'm going to go ahead and attack this one. No! No! I got an okay, I lost my excellent 10. I did everything else so perfect, I lost my excellent 10. No! You know what, excellent 10 is not hard to get. I'll get that when we go to Dream World, it's not a big deal. I got the hard one taken care of. Dodge 10 is done. I could care less about what happens from here. So, and I actually beat those guys on first try, which is always really nice, so... All things said and done, I am pretty gosh darn content with my performance. So, actually this one did nothing for me. I actually had to head up here. I knew that, I'm paying attention. It's basically a very simple fan puzzle, nothing really major to worry about. Just deal up the fan, blow it back this way so you can head across here, and break this. I mean, these pillows, these side quest pillows, are always pretty simple. We'll only have one more to deal with. I'm fairly sure that's all the enemies we'll have to deal with this episode, so we should just be able to quickly mop up the rest of Wakeport. Oh no! My monitor went black for a second there. I don't know if that affected the recording or not. I'm going to assume it didn't. If it did, though, I apologize. I got dodge 10. I'm keeping this footage. I don't care. I turn caffeine on and everything. My monitor just goes in sleep mode sometimes without warning. It's a little annoying. Anyway, I think we're still recording. I think we're still good. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not scrapping this. We got dodge 10. That dodge 10s from now on are gonna be very difficult to get, especially on the first encounters of enemies. So I am very content with that. We know how the whole you rescued a pillow looks like. If that guy went black or something, it's not the end of the world. I'm a professional, I swear. Anyway, these pillows seem to be pretty happy that they're in town, as they should be. And we're gonna head up here and basically continue to complete this episode. So, this guy got lost! Cool for you, but he actually, it means that a friend of his went along that walkway, but he hasn't come back. Has something happened to a random toad? I mean, it's a random toad. That's, stuff tends to happen to them. Just kind of, it's kind of, oh my god, why are there more enemies? No! Well, okay. Huh, that's actually a really interesting thing I just found out that you don't really encounter often. If you use the virus badge on those crabs and they're still under the rocks, it actually doesn't affect the ones that are under the rocks. It only affects the ones that are exposed. That's interesting. That's a nice little tidbit I was not aware of. Cool. Anyway, Mini Mario yourself over here to get the counter belt. I guess before we get our attack piece, I'll quickly show what the counter belt does. The counter belt, basically whenever your other bro gets KO'd, or whenever your bro gets KO'd, basically, you'll gain a huge boost in power, but that's reliant on someone dying, which we do not want to ever happen, so it's not really something very useful to me. Plus Guard Shell. Guard Shell is kind of the superior accessory. It's just going to be how things roll. So, another new attack, which is this attack is actually really inconvenient to use on Wakeport enemies, because it doesn't really work very well with the crab because of the random rocks interrupting it. It's really hard to get an excellent on the crabs, as I'll actually demonstrate at some point, I'm sure. But welcome to Bye Bye Cannon. The way this attack works basically is memorize the order. Oops, I canceled instead of practiced it. Let's try that again. Wrong button. I want to press start. There we go. So the way Bye Bye Cannon works is your bros will shoot out into the sky, memorize the order in which they shoot out, and hit the appropriate buttons as they land. And then afterwards, you have to basically do it in reverse. Because after you do it one cycle, they'll then come back down. You'll see. Basically, you have to memorize it, you know, do it in the normal order the first time. The second time, you're doing it in reverse order. You'll see right now as I show it off. Anyway, Bye Bye Cannons, go! It's very reminiscent to me of like the... Is it the Yoo-Hoo barrels, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, the Yoo-Hoo barrels are kind of like this, weren't they? Anyway, A, B, A, B, B, A. And then reverse. A, B, B, A, B, A. I like to kind of use like words to explain it. So that one would have been like, what, A, oh wait, A, B, B, A, B, A. So that would have been Ababa. You know, stuff like that. Use a little, I don't, what's the word, mnemonics? Something like that. I don't know. That's how I memorize things. It's a thing. But we have a new bro attack, and it will lead to a new Mad Skillathon challenge, so we'll be seeing plenty of the Bye Bye Cannon quite soon. I would like to try to demonstrate why it sucks to fight against a crab, but considering the length of this episode, we may be doing that next time, for we are... Well, I guess not, because there's a crab right here. Hello, crab. I'm going to jump on you so I can show off this attack. How many of you are there? There's just 2 of you, except you're just going to go get your thing, so it's not really a big deal. There, I skipped all of your attacks. So let me just demonstrate why the Bye Bye Cannon does not work very well against these crabs. I'll actually just fight, like, just a normal enemy in a different area to get the excellent at some point, because we need to get the excellent for the expert challenge. Oops, I was not paying attention. It was A, B, B, A, B, B, A, B, A, B. Oh, it's just B, A, B, A, B, A. The problem is, if it just attacks a rock, it interrupts the thing, you don't get excellent. So, due to the existence of rocks that don't have enemies under them, the Bye Bye Cannon is pretty much impossible to get an excellent with against these crabs. So, basically, we'll be essentially, oops, didn't mean to do that. We will be using the Bye Bye Cannon on a different enemy, which I'll be doing next episode, getting the expert challenge for that. Because this episode has already been really lengthy, and I still have a whole pillow to get. Might do the pillow next time, thinking about it now. Might be a good idea to just do that next time. Yeah, we'll just do that last pillow next time in the sort of side questy stuff, because it is still technically part of a side quest. And it should be a fairly quick pillow to do, but this episode has gone for a fairly long time, so the last thing we need to take care of is basically we head over here. We're finally going to get to the other side of this wall. There's a toad trap there, though. That's the toad the guy was talking about. And oh no, we fell down here. That means no one can ever get back except for the fact that, you know, there is a huge button over there. No one really... Did you really not notice the giant button, Toad? It's a giant button. It's a thing. It's back there. You press the button and life is good. But nope! This Toad is a silly face. So... Oh, Toad. Actually, if you try to head back, he's like, no, do something! So you actually have to go over here and hammer the button. The game won't let you progress until you free the Toad. But with that button, this wall will come down, and he shall be free. We are the best! The best! Anyway, and now of course he's just gonna stay here because he's a doofus. But hey, see that guy over there? That's Big Massif. We finally found him. The only thing we have to do is actually just solve one of these puzzles and we'll be able to get to him. So we'll go ahead and solve this puzzle quickly. What am I doing? I want to use this one. I know how to thing. It's a thing I do. Anyway, the trick to this one, I know you can get, you can get the hexagon one over there easily, but it'll block the plus one from being able to get to where you need to go. So the trick is actually to bring the hexagon one all the way over here, and then bring the plus one on the same path. I keep hitting... This is the one thing I hate about these puzzles, is it's so easy to accidentally do Mini Mario instead of Mole Mario, and it's just like, really? And then you're just like, this is annoying, blah, blah, blah. Now that this is over here out of harm's way, you bring the... Urgh! Mini Mario, stop! You bring that over there. You hit this one back down here. And you're good to go. Huzzah! So, with that, this door opens, and we have access to Big Massif. But we will not be dealing with Big Massif until after we take care of a bunch of side quests in the vicinity of Wakeport, including another pillow that we haven't actually been able to reach. Also, by the way, now that actually, wait, can we actually access the ramparts again? Can we access the ramparts from this side now that no. Okay, so no game back up the ramparts easily. We can actually still go around to do that. I was curious, but we can actually get back there whenever we want to, because now that the wall's down, it's easy to get back there. No one's gonna be putting the wall back up. That'd be quite rude. But I was planning to do this episode, but we seem to be running pretty long on time now, so I think I can fit it in with all the other half the side quests. We'll probably do 2 side quest episodes because video length and all that jazz. So we'll handle this next episode. There's a pillow back there. There's a puzzle. We'll do all the puzzles and all the pillows in the next one, guys. This is LuckySevenDX signing out. See you guys in the next episode where we get that pillow, and then we start a lot of the side quests in Wakeport. We'll be getting some really cool items and some beans and all bunch of nice things. So we'll be dealing with that quite soon. This is LuckySevenDX signing out, though, for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.